I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down? He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please, just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man. Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube. Obviously, I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Find the show also on podcast forums, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, etc. We're going to talk about a lot of things in the boxing world today. Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, both getting lawyers to seemingly get ready for an upcoming legal battle with Golden Boy, Oscar, whatever it may be. Plus, we have obviously the news of Triple G Derevchenko purse bid being ordered for the IBF. Plus, Billy Joe Saunders, a little bit sleuthing that Rob did. Rob is not here today, unfortunately. Rob had to do a double shift at work, so he is still at work as we speak, so he couldn't be on the show, unfortunately. But digressing, guys, Rob did a little sleuthing. We found something that makes both of us believe that Billy Joe Saunders is going to go to Top Rank. And not in the same sort of quasi-quote promotional deal that Tyson Fury has, an outright Top Rank contract. We'll get to that later. Call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. International callers, call in on Skype. Mix Combat Radio. Plus, also, obviously, fights this weekend we will get to and break down. Not in any in-depth way, but I'll get to them. Plus, sort of minor topics as well to get to. So let's just jump into it. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, patreon.com/Mix Combat Radio. Let's get to the news of the day. And the first up, obviously, is the Canelo whole Ryan Garcia legal, I should say, upcoming sort of seemingly legal battle that might happen. Gabe Oppenheim, obviously, Gabe Words, he's a blogger, so to speak, in the boxing world. Decent one as well. Hold on. There we go. Sorry, somebody was calling over there on Skype. I could tell. But digressing, Canelo, Gabe, per this article, I will post the link here in the live chat for you guys that want to read it yourself. It's a pretty long piece. We're not going to read it all. We will get to parts of it though. I'll read the first few paragraphs, and we're going to skip to another part later on. Canelo Alvarez is unhappy with this promotional outfit and its semi-leader / figurehead Oscar De La Hoya. That much you can read anywhere. But here are some reasons, all of which I shared with Golden Boy seeking its version of events, and none of which was refuted. Canelo told Oscar during negotiation last year not to promise DAZN a third fight with Golovkin. Not because Canelo feared the fight, but because he felt he won the second in a straightforward fashion, and he sincerely disliked the idea of helping out Golovkin financially. Yet Oscar promised DAZN a third Canelo Triple G go-around anyway, which has hurt a bunch of people. It led to DAZN signing Triple G by guaranteeing him a shot at Canelo. They could not deliver presently. DAZN is in breach of the Triple G contract as a result. And we're going to get to this part as well. And Triple G's lawyers have now sent DAZN a letter about the violation, demanding a title fight. So obviously, the Derevchenko fight is, well, that probably will come into play. So their guy has a belt to dangle before Canelo in 2020. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Right here. Canelo has secured the services of an independent lawyer, either to renegotiate his Golden Boy deal or to ensure it's properly enforced, or to cut a deal in which Canelo buys out the remainder of his contract. I think that part is really interesting. Just saying. The lawyer might wind up doing all three, and in that order. Someone ballparked a buyout figure to me of 20 to 30 million, but only if Canelo's lawyer can show Golden Boy has been acting in bad faith or not living up to its side of the deal, and the figures obviously can vary greatly based on fight outcomes. Also, just to add to this part, and I think Gabe does actually a really good job of sort of wording it, sadly, this is where Oscar's history of substance abuse has legal implication. I really respect the way Oscar has treated me personally, and addiction is a disease, but Canelo was reportedly embarrassed by a few instances in which Oscar was a no-show at his pressers, ostensibly because Oscar was impaired or hungover. If it can be proven he was indeed absent for that reason, Canelo will get to pay far less to buy out his deal because it portends greater difficulty for Oscar should the case be litigated. Now, before we get to Ryan Garcia's part, I just want to add sort of my personal experiences with Canelo at pressers, with Golden Boy at pressers, and being at pressers where Oscar is not present. It was always under breath and sort of in whispers that, oh, Oscar's not here, you sort of know why. So if they are going down this path, really intrigued by that. And just to add to this, obviously, Ryan Garcia, and just for those that want to know, we will get to Triple G's aspect to it and sort of try to connect it all together in a bit. But Mike Coppinger coming out and saying sources tell The Athletic Ryan Garcia has retained powerful boxing attorney Guadalupe Valencia, who is also advising him. One big issue, Garcia earned $50,000 for his March bout, despite Golden Boy approaching $1 million in revenue from a DAZN event Garcia headlined as an A-side. Now, obviously, there might be some more stipulations in the contract, which I would like to see, but bearing that, it looks like he got underpaid for what Ryan Garcia truly brings to the table, to be quite honest, especially in today's market, in the DAZN era, just in the streaming era, right? Like, a guy like Ryan Garcia, you think would be overpaid drastically. Like, Ryan Garcia should be approaching 7 figures. Just being honest, guys. The guy's a draw. He's an internet sensation. Like, even if we don't think he's that great, drawing power is always separate from talent. It just is, unfortunately. Look at Adrian Broner, for God's sake. Now, beside that point, though, let's sort of connect Ryan Garcia and Canelo's seeming legal preparations and what it could spell for Golden Boy. Golden Boy is on the precipice of fighting a legal battle with not only their biggest star, but in essence, their second biggest star and the hope for their future in Ryan Garcia, who's in his early 20s, who could be something later down the road. I don't know if Golden Boy can survive a scenario where they lose both Ryan Garcia and Canelo. Do any of us believe that? On top of that, now, Canelo's buyout would be pretty large, 20 or 30 million. Like, I know that's, in theory, one fight for him, but 20, 30 million in pocket just to give to someone is a lot of money, and especially in comparison to guys like Mayweather, who bought out his top rank contract for $750,000. And that was after De La Hoya fight, I believe. That was after, or was that before or after the De La Hoya fight? I'm trying to remember. Gary saying Virgil Ortiz. No, Gary, come on. They have a lot of work for Virgil Ortiz to get anywhere to Ryan Garcia's marketability and drawing power. But digressing from that point, Gary, again, if we're in a paradigm where Canelo and Ryan Garcia are separate now from Golden Boy, what happens? And we've heard rumors that the DAZN has put tens of millions, or at least I've heard rumors that they put tens of millions into investing into Golden Boy. And imagine they lose all that, in essence, because if Golden Boy doesn't have Canelo and Ryan Garcia, how are they going to recoup that investment at all? I just don't see it happening. Golden Boy is in deep, deep shit if their two biggest stars are hiring lawyers and advisors separate from them. And also in Gabe's piece, he says that Canelo has sent out feelers to other promoters. This is a huge issue for Golden Boy that they need to address with everything they have, because they've already lost arguably a majority of their stable 4 years ago when the whole PBC, Al Heyman, Richard Schaefer split happened. So they can't afford to then lose two more guys of this nature. They just can't do it. It's not possible. Now, in a second, I'll talk about sort of DAZN and their sort of implications and what they're sort of dealing with in this sort of dilemma, the situation where you have Canelo and Ryan Garcia battling Golden Boy, and you're sort of the network involved in between all of this, and also the fact that Triple G is now hiring, or at least has his lawyer sending notices to you that you're in breach of contract. But luckily, at least for the Triple G side, Dan Rayfield reporting, IBF on Monday morning ordered the Derevchenko Triple G vacant middleweight title fight per sources. And of course, if he gets the title fight, per Gabe's reporting and per other people's reporting as well, DAZN would no longer be in breach of their contract with Triple G. However, that does not shore up the issue of DAZN in the middle of Golden Boy versus Canelo and Ryan Garcia. Because Canelo and Ryan Garcia are hiring lawyers to see what their options are. And we know when this happens, we know the route it takes usually. Highly curious to see how this goes and see how many years it could take out both men's careers, honestly. I really hope it doesn't take any issues. Because look, a guy like Canelo doesn't have a fight lined up, doesn't have a fight scheduled, and then he's apparently hiring lawyers. Ryan Garcia was mentioned with the fight today against Avery Sparrow by Barboza Box, obviously of ESPN Deportes. And I'll be honest, I want to see more information about that because Ryan Garcia is still going through litigation with his former manager at the moment as well, which that attorney allegedly was also, not allegedly, was on retainer for that case, but now is on retainer for this case. So, again, we're in a position here where Golden Boy, a promotional outfit that's been invested heavily by its network, is currently facing a upcoming, again, potential legal battle against their two biggest draws. And if they lose those two draws, what do they have left? Virgil Ortiz. They just signed Wenhang Menathin, the minimum weight champion. What are they really going to do to survive in this climate, in this marketplace, where PBC has a gigantic stable? Matchroom is doing wonders, not only in the UK and but also in the US. I mean, just worldwide they are. Even the Matchroom haters have to admit, comparative to other promoters, Matchroom is a clear 1A or 1B right now. It is. And right now, Golden Boy is arguably even below, especially if they lose Canelo and Ryan Garcia, they probably go under like Frank Warren's stable in terms of relevancy. Dennis in the chat with Dennis and Ryan Garcia sucks. Look, Ryan Garcia, we can all agree. No one's disagreeing here that Ryan Garcia is not the best prospect. However, we have to all still agree, though, because it is factual, that he is their second biggest draw and second biggest star. And that's all I'm arguing. So if you lose your second biggest star, that's going to hurt you. Imagine if PBC lost Wilder and Broner to Matchroom. That would be massive news. Or maybe even like Spence and Wilder, let's say. Right? That would be massive news because those are the two biggest stars in their stable. Again, Canelo and Ryan Garcia, clearly the two biggest stars. I would say the gap between them and a Virgil Ortiz or anyone else in their stable is far wider than, let's say, other stables, right? Like PBC has a much deeper star-studded stable than others. So is Matchroom. So is others, right? Internet draw is a streaming draw. That's how it works. Kaz saying, nah, they'd be under Kathy Duva's stable if they lose both. Oh, of course. Well, I mean, yeah, that's easy. Because they, like, Kathy Duva still has Kovalev and, like, Bivol. Those are two really good light heavyweights. Who else do they have? That's about it for terms of, like, real elite guys. But that would still be more than Virgil Ortiz, who's not even a champion. But again, DAZN, you have to wonder what their headspace is at right now because they've been beefing with their star in terms of Canelo. And Canelo is now beefing with his promoter. You just got to worry about the planning and the unity in terms of just running a business. They need sort of a new company like DAZN needs things to be running smoothly right now, and it's not. It's not. And that's something to be concerned about. Obviously, leave a comment down below. Lewis, a good point bringing Jaime McGee up. I should mention him. 92 Akut St. Saddam Ali. I will say this. In terms of drawing power, we can probably all agree that they might be even above Virgil Ortiz, right? So you would put Canelo right as number one. Like, that's clear. Right? It doesn't need to be argued. But I'd also say it would be clear as Ryan Garcia is number two. And then probably in 2019, maybe not career-wise, but in 2019, in terms of what they can draw, Jaime McGee is third. And then maybe Saddam Ali or Virgil Ortiz as like a tie for fourth, right? But the gaps between those are drastic, in my opinion. Matthew D'Souza saying, Matt, do you think the loss of Richard Schaefer has been a key factor? It's been instrumental. I mean, let's be honest. To Golden Boy's rapid decline, where if it's not Canelo fighting, they're losing money. Like, it's just, this is public knowledge. Their financial information, at least some of their financial information is public. And we know that Golden Boy Promotions does not make money. They actually lose money when Canelo's not fighting. So, even if they just lose Canelo, let alone Ryan Garcia, like, that would be massive. Golden Boy seriously needs to find their next guy in some way. Even if it's like Virgil Ortiz, like being like a relevant player at 140, like, that's not enough. Like, they need something more. Otherwise, they went from being, we were all there, guys. I remember you all being there in a sense, right? We went from 2013 era of Showtime, which was Golden Boy, Al Heyman, Showtime, all working together in concert, Richard Schaefer. And they're putting on, without a doubt, the best shows, right? And then you had, obviously, Top Rank, K2, and Main Events over on HBO trying to sort of compete in that sort of 2-year window, right? And Golden Boy and Showtime were on top of the world. And then within a day, everything changed. Everything changed. Golden Boy had to go back to HBO. Think about that. Things changed so drastically for Golden Boy that they went from dominating on their network to having to go back to HBO, limping, tail between their legs. Oscar had to go to Bob Arum's house and like make up so that he could go back to HBO in essence, right? Like, things changed so drastically for Golden Boy. The only saving grace they had was Canelo. And through that whole time, Canelo and Oscar's relationship has been deteriorating. I've seen bits and pieces of it along the way, personally up close. Okay? And that was years ago when I saw it. I'm surprised it's taken this long. But anyways, guys, like I said, leave a question, topic, whatever, or a comment about this topic, about the Oscar, Canelo, Ryan Garcia split, the legal upcoming battle it seems that we're gearing up for. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Who wins? Do Canelo and Ryan Garcia in, let's say, a few years' time, are they separated from Golden Boy and under Canelo Promotions? Do we see that? Do we see that they go through a Mikey Garcia-like battle, Andre Ward-like legal battle, and, 2 years down the line, they come out and it's Canelo Promotions. Ryan Garcia is in that stable. Maybe Oscar Valdez, too, comes over. Maybe he becomes a free agent by that time. Everyone that's been trained over by Eddie Renee. So I wouldn't be surprised. Far crazier things have happened in this world. Let's move on, though. It's a little bit of a conspiracy here with this topic. Not really, though. But me and Rob did some sleuthing, some Sherlock Holming over here. MTK Global, obviously the management company, said fresh start. WBO super middleweight champion Billy Joe Saunders has been putting in the hard work at MTK Marbella. News on his future soon. Stay updated. Right. And then the tagged. Look who they tagged. Oh, you guys didn't see it. Hold on. Let me go right here. First 2 tags. Bob Arum and Top Rank. Let's look for any other promoters. No, just some news websites. Yep. Nope, only Top Rank and Bob Arum. I'm just curious. I'm not saying it's 100%. It's confirmed now. MTK let the cat out the bag, but they kind of did. It seems with this posting. Obviously, we've heard from Mike Coppinger that Billy Joe Saunders has been in negotiations with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. However, we have MTK coming out here with a post that's only tagged with Top Rank and Bob Arum. And there's no reason to tag Top Rank and Bob Arum unless they're contractually involved with Billy Joe Saunders in some way. Am I wrong here? I don't know. You tell me. It seems weird. If you're in this now free agency period and you're the management company, think about it. It's his manager, in theory, is MTK, right? They're here posting, yeah, he's tagged and signed with Top Rank and Bob Arum. News soon, but you're tagging the promoter. I don't know. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if that's how they let the cat out the bag, that he's now a Top Rank fighter. But also, that the relationship between Top Rank, Frank Warren, ESPN, and BT Sports is really harmonious. So why split from Frank Warren to sign with Top Rank? You know what I mean? Like, why would... That doesn't seem like it would make sense. But then again, guys, we're talking about Billy Joe Saunders, right? If anyone will be in a position to better their career and then just sidestep it completely, it's Billy Joe Saunders, right? I'm looking for people that aren't there, but let's all be in agreement here, right? Like, that's how it would be. So I think, what's Top Rank going to give him? Billy Joe Saunders Murata, Billy Joe Saunders Gilberto Ramirez at 168. I don't really care. I don't really care for that. However, again, why would his management company tag Top Rank and Bob Arum? It'd be weird. Matthew D'Souza saying, who does he fight if he signs with Top Rank? Does it mean his career rights up for the highest bidder, fight by fight? No, because that's the question, right? Because we know that Top Rank and ESPN have a harmonious relationship with BT. So is he still a BT fighter? I don't know, because BT was tagged in that post. It's weird. Moving on, though, again, leave a comment down below what you guys think. Do you think Billy Joe Saunders is going to be signed to Top Rank, or is this just a weird mistake by his management company to tag Top Rank and Bob Arum when he's in the middle of a free agency period? You know what I mean? Just sounds weird. But moving on, sort of an update on the Devin Haney card on September. It's being moved. And I will say that, Rob, you're right. Because I was saying, hey, Let's hope it's still in Vegas. Let's hope it's all on September 14th. But obviously, we heard Tyson Fury, Otto Whalen, September 14th in Las Vegas, which makes zero sense. Go check out our video in our YouTube on our YouTube channel about that. Disgusting. But Devin Haney, his card has been moved to New York City, per Eddie Hearn, and also would be moved to September 13th, the day before, on Friday. On top of that, Steve Kim added that he heard that Daniel Roman will be added to the card as a co-main event. So we will get real Devin Haney versus Abdulaev, and Daniel Roman versus Akhmadiliev, I believe is his name, as a doubleheader. Plus, on top of that, it seems like Heather Hardy, Amanda Serrano is in advanced talks, and that's also probably going to end up on that date, as well as the already announced Michael Hunter, Sergey Kuzman fight. That card is stacking up to be a really, really fun card. Not to the same degree as, let's say, the Woman Doheny and Rungsvia Estrada card, but it mirrors that in terms of trying to just beef it up with tons of fights. I will say that you can maybe argue in terms of just total depth, this card is one of the deeper cards of the year coming up. So I'm excited. Plus, it's a Friday night card, and I kind of like Friday night cards. I will say, though, I kind of wish they stayed in Vegas, stayed on the September 14th date, and went head-to-head with Tyson Fury. I kind of wish they would have done that, but I knew they wouldn't. Matthew D'Souza saying Ryan Burnett signed a Top Rank. Yes, that's right. Not sure what the plan is for him either. I don't know with Ryan Burnett. I think he's fighting at 122 as like a comeback fight, and then he's going back down to 118 allegedly. But digressing. Adrian Broner, who we were talking about maybe a couple weeks ago, fighting Ivan Redkach. That's now official per Jake Donovan. And Lubin Dennis Hogan is planned as sort of the co-main event for October. And all signs point to this being a Showtime card. It's all right. I think both fights will be entertaining. And I think both fights are designed to get the A side a entertaining win, which isn't a bad thing. But it doesn't automatically scream to me ooh, that looks amazing. But that Lubin Hogan fight, I'm excited for that one. I'll be honest. I think Lubin Hogan has the potential to be just a crazy matchup in the ring. Hogan's aggression and just honestly his ability just to flow with combinations, his flow in the ring is quite amazing. Lubin, I think, has gotten better and better with each fight since that Jamel Charlo loss. I'm really intrigued by that fight, especially since Hogan, in most people's minds, beat Jaime Munguia. So I'm intrigued by that, more so than Broner Redkach, to be quite honest. Vito Malinicki Jr., I know he's a big-time amateur prospect of New Jersey, signs a contract with Premier Boxing Champions. I don't know much about him, but I know he's been highly sought after sort of prospect / amateur. So I am curious to see what he does. Johnny, no, I haven't. I'm about to get to that soon, though. Last piece of news to get to, and then we're going to talk about the fights that happened this weekend, and then take callers. So call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. But shout out to, first off, Gray Johnson of BoxRec. I will say this. I don't know if I said this on the show, but I should say this. Gray Johnson, I was having some issues with BoxRec logging in to BoxRec after they updated their website. They had a huge update. And Gray Johnson was so helpful with trying to get my shit activated because I made a new account and it wasn't working. Thank you, Gray. You're awesome. But he shared this post from British Boxing News, and it is hilarious. Okay, says forget about all the disparaging comments. Forget about his pumped up umping record. Forget about the number 375 ranking on BoxRec. Forget about the 99% chance Daniel Dubois wipes him out inside a round. Watch this gif of Ebenezer Teta and be amazed. And look, if you're not watching on YouTube right now, Santiago or Gary or whoever is on the line, go to YouTube right now and just watch. And tell me you don't want to put this thing on repeat, because it is on repeat right now. This is absolutely entertaining. Oh my God. Look at that. Look at that spin. Beautiful right there. Look at that. Oh my God. I saw that today and I was dying. So I thought I had to share this with you guys. This is the guy that's fighting Daniel Dubois next. So, I cannot wait to see that. But let's get to the fights this weekend. Then let's go to callers. Obviously, the marquee probably card of this weekend was the Adam Wanaki, Chris Arreola card on PBC on Fox. I'll be honest, I kind of had on the background. When I watched it again, I kind of on the background again. This card just did not pull me in any way. I think largely it was due to just me really diving into the reporting of Marcus Brown's domestic violence and felony charges. That just got me into a mood of not really giving a shit. But let's not bury the lead here. John Pascal bringing faith back, not only into humanity and my faith in humanity, but my faith in almost like God. Okay, because Marcus Brown was on such a upward trend where I was like, damn, he might be like one of the best guys in the division. He might be everyone. And look at all of what he's doing outside the ring. That is just horrendous. This makes me sick. And then John Pascal, old guy strength, comes in here and mollywops Marcus Brown a few times, man. Drops him, 4 or 5 times? It was amazing. And plus, just a really good fight. I will say that. And John Pascal, just, again, being that old man and pushing back Father Time and beating the woman beater in Marcus Brown, or alleged woman beater in Marcus Brown. I love it. I think it's awesome. I thought that's an uplifting story in boxing. And plus, a really fun fight. Plus, obviously, the main event, Adam Wanaki, Chris Arreola, that was a heavyweight slobber knocker for 12 rounds. They broke like every record for like total punches thrown and landed in the heavyweight division. Absolutely absurd. I will say this though, Wanaki going life and death in theory, like in essence, obviously with Chris Arreola. Ooh, that does not look too good. And Johnny adding Marcus Brown got bitched. Yes. Mainline that to my veins, please. That shit was amazing. I watched those knockdowns all day. Curtis Stevens got knocked out as well by Wale Amatosa. And really a brutal fight for him. He got knocked down in every round before he was finished in the third. Carlos Negron lost against Brian Howard. Julian Sosa lost. A lot of sort of the PBC names that we know lost. So that's concerning. A lot of guys, they were sort of trying to beef back up towards relevancy. Didn't end up well. Marcus Brown being the highlight of it, obviously. But Adam Wanaki, obviously getting by with a brutal fight with Chris Arreola in terms of just punishment sustained. I don't think Wanaki is going to be the world beater, and I think Ruiz finishes Wanaki, right? I think Ruiz is just too good. I think Joshua's too good. I think Wilder's too good. I think even guys like Povetkin, Miller, Luis Ortiz, those guys probably beat Wanaki. There's a clear ceiling for him. The Arreola fight should have been easier for him in some fashion, and it wasn't. But then again, Arreola is just a tough son of a bitch, so credit to him. Moving on, we kind of talked a lot about the Anthony Fowler card on Boxing Banter on Patreon yesterday. So go check that out on patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio to hear sort of any in-depth takes on that. The Michael Conlan card. Michael Conlan looked all right. I mean, I just don't think Michael Conlan has a really high ceiling, to be quite honest. But I will say this. That Luke Keller and Luis Aries fight, that was also one of the best fights of the weekend. If you haven't seen that because you kind of didn't care about this card, go back and watch just that fight if you want. And also, I will say the, what was his name? I'll find it. What Where was this guy? I'm thinking of a different card. Oh, I'm thinking of a different card. I'm thinking of the Fowler card with Jack Cullen. But anyways, Luke Keller, Luis Aries, fun fight. That was awesome. Who else? Patty Barnes picked up a much-needed win after 2 losses back-to-back. Patty Gallagher lost via technical decision. That's about it for the news and the fights today, guys. Let's go to callers. 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. International callers call in on Skype. Let's see what we have. Let's go to Gary in Dallas. Gary.
All right. Yeah, Matt.
Yes, and hold on. Santiago, please mute yourself on Skype if you're not. Thank you. Gary.
Is Santiago his first name?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, I just thought it was his last name. I think he friend requested me on Facebook. I'll make sure it's the same guy. But I just assumed Santiago was his last name.
No, I don't think it is.
All right.
Because I know his last name, and it's not Santiago.
Okay, so his first name.
It might be his middle name, and he goes by his middle name, but no, I think that's his first name. Like his on his birth certificate.
I want to talk about the Golden Boy thing.
Of course.
Don't they still have Jorge Linares? Is he still locked up with Golden Boy?
Yeah.
They need to make him relevant again. Like, I don't know how you're going to do that when you just got blown out by Pablo Cesar Cano.
It's not happening.
But they need to make.
No, you know what they need to do? They need to find more young talent, and then guess what? Promote that young talent. You know, like guys like Virgil Ortiz. Like they need to, like Oscar needs to get on his Twitter account and start tweeting about that instead of how him, Mayweather, and Pacquiao never had the IBF belt when they all three did have the IBF belt.
I agree.
Yeah.
But young talent doesn't really make money overnight unless it's Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez. I mean, there's very few guys, Canelo Alvarez, who make money, young talent who make money right away. It's usually an investment over time.
Yeah.
If Oscar loses Canelo and Ryan Garcia, he's out of time, right? I mean, he's out of time. He doesn't. So I mean, he's got to either make Linares, get Linares a big money fight. And this was the other. Was Arturo Gatti the most skilled fighter in the world?
No, of course not.
No, he was a huge draw in a specific market. Okay, he's got to do that with Munguia, right? He's got to put Munguia in wars. Like we laughed at a Soto fight, put him in a Soto fight. Let him go to war with Soto. Right? Again, if you constantly give entertaining fights like Gatti, it doesn't matter that you're not that great. Like we trash on Munguia. Munguia is not awful. He's, a pretty good fighter at that level.
He's honestly a top 20. He's honestly a top 20 junior middleweight.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right. So make the Adames fight. Who cares if he loses? If he fights Adames, that's going to be a war. It doesn't matter if he loses. It's going to be a fight you want to see again. Just put him in wars. Don't worry if he loses. Right? Gatti lost 7 times. Did it matter? No, because his fights were always entertaining. Brandon Rios. People watch Brandon Rios. People still go watch Brandon Rios. Why? Because his fights are entertaining. Just go put him in wars. And people will watch them. Because, look, if he fights the best, he's going to take losses, Munguia.
Yep.
But they'll still be entertaining because his style is fun. So, I mean, when I say you can make money off Munguia, you're not going to make it off of him.
Now, Gary, do you think the market that they should try to go for him is purely Mexico, or should they try to go to Texas and make Texas a market for him, or California? Should California be a market for him?
I wanted to touch on that, right? If he loses Ryan Garcia and Canelo, he may have to redesign himself and make his market Mexico, right? He may have to invest in the smaller weight class fighters who he can sign and put on shows in Mexico. You can still work the LA market and the Texas market, but that would be secondary. Like his main market would be Mexico, which sounds weird because he's always been such a staple in American boxing for your whole life, right?
And honestly,
you
like
didn't
I've
know
always
boxing
heard it,
before
like
you-
living in LA, like real Mexicans in LA
You got
kind of shit on Oscar, bro. Like that's like it'd be weird. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if Oscar can truly go to Mexico and make that his market, because that never really has been his market in a way. You know what I mean? Like you have like in Mexico, like it would be like Chavez or like even guys like Salvador Sanchez over him. Like there's a lot of people, like even like Marquez. People like I will hear real Mexicans in LA talk about like Marquez in a higher light than De La Hoya.
Yeah, Marquez, and then you had guys like Morales and Barrera and Salvador Sanchez, like you said, who are like folk heroes, right?
Yeah.
Who are like legendary.
Yeah.
But Marquez really got overlooked for a lot of his career because he didn't have that typical come forward style, right? He was the quintessential boxer. He had great timing. He did things like that. He wasn't like Barrera and Morales, who would just drop their hands and go to war. But yeah, later in his career, Marquez became a huge draw for sure. I mean, he did 400,000 pay-per-view buys with Bradley or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like
shit.
And that's him selling that, right? Because Bradley's not really a draw. And that's Marquez selling those pay-per-views. I think that it might be an option. Like Diego De La Hoya, I still think is going to be good. I took a loss. I think his thing is going to be a niche. I think he has to focus on the lower weight classes, try to get good young Mexican fighters, and make Mexico his market, and try to sell him a little bit in Texas and LA and anywhere else with his, big
like
Mexican
Arizona,
population.
maybe Arizona, New Mexico, maybe. You
Yeah.
know, the Southwest. Yeah.
But I don't know if those are boxing markets, though, right? Like, Beltran is from Phoenix. Did he sell it all, that fight, when he fought in Arizona? Is that, like, I just don't know that Phoenix is, or Arizona is a boxing market.
No, but I mean, like, it's a small boxing market. Like, it would be. I bet I'll put it this way. I bet you can go to Phoenix or like Tucson and put on a card there. That's the same size, the same amount of revenue that, let's say, like, is in Fantasy Springs, California, which is like by Palm Springs, right? And
Right.
but that's in California, so you're paying higher taxes. You're doing a lot more things that probably eat up your costs and take out your revenue. So maybe that's why, like, you may be right that it's the market may not be that, but they go to fucking Temecula out here, and Temecula is that's a 3-hour drive from LA and like a 2-hour drive from San Diego. Like they don't really cater to big markets here in SoCal for the low weight classes or regional guys so much as well. They go to the casinos or the Indian reservations. It's the same thing. You know how it works. It's like the same thing everywhere.
When you say Temecula is a 3-hour drive from LA, now I know LA traffic. What is that, like 20 miles? I mean, I'm not trying to talk about, but how far away, like, mileage is Temecula? Because I know 3 hours in LA traffic, you can go 5 miles.
No, without traffic, it's 2.5. Without
so
traffic,
it's out there. It's far. Okay.
Yeah, it's far. Like, I'll put it this way: it honestly,
more, okay.
it's it's in between technically San Diego and LA, but it's inland, to put it that way, if that makes sense. So it's not like actually in between because
not really.
Yeah, it's like a big triangle.
Why do they put fights there then?
There's a nice casino out there. There's a nice casino.
Okay.
Pachanga Resorts and Casino. I don't know if you've heard of that.
There you go. Yeah, I know. Indio Springs. Like, I know there's a bunch of. How far is it from like Indio Springs?
LA to Indio Springs is like a 4-hour drive, I want to say.
Holy. Okay.
Like when me and Santiago covered the Jason Quigley Glenn Tapia card out there, we stayed a night. Like, we got a hotel room. We didn't drive back that night.
Yeah, 4 hours. I'm not driving 4 hours.
Yeah.
After the fight probably gets out, you do interviews. It's probably 12:30 after you get out. I'm not driving till 4:30
Like, you can honestly, if you're driving like another hour, but just going a different direction, you get to Vegas. That's how far away it is.
So it's close to. So when Oscar does like the LA Fight Nights, and he used to do the old Golden Boy LA Fight Nights in Indio, California, he's actually nowhere near LA.
No, nowhere
That
near
was,
LA. Nope.
Okay, 4 hours. I think it's like 2 hours. Wow, 4 hours. Okay. Yeah. Then I want to talk to Virgil Ortiz. I know you thought I was joking, and I was like joking a little bit, but I'm not, right? Like Virgil Ortiz is now a welterweight. Welterweight outside of the heavyweight division for the last 30 years has been the glamour money division in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the money fights are going to be there for him. Plus, he'll have a huge fan base among Mexican Americans, and he'll have a huge fan base in Dallas and in Texas where he's from. Like, I know you say he doesn't have a big personality and this and that, and that's fine. But does Mikey Garcia have a big personality?
No, but Mikey had a great machine behind him at the time in HBO and Top Rank. Right now, Golden Boy and DAZN, I don't think is the equivalent to that in terms of like what it does to create stars. Secondly, let's just matchmake Virgil Ortiz now, right? Like walk me through his career. Like walk me how to get him to stardom, if that makes sense.
It's easier to get him a belt at 40 than it is 47. But if he's at 47, it's going to be difficult because the whole division, besides Terrence Crawford, who you'd want to avoid, obviously, is all on the PBC side, and they're going to have the same problem Crawford is having, right? Like they're just not going to put him in the ring with anybody.
Yeah, but not necessarily. I'll say this. I can see Golden Boy sending Virgil Ortiz over to a Fox pay-per-view with Spence. You know what I mean? Like, Virgil Ortiz isn't Crawford. You know what I mean? Where, like, a promoter or network's going to hold him and make sure they get the big fight on their side because Ortiz is, like, without a doubt, the B side. You get what I mean?
He could send, yeah, for sure. They could send Ortiz over to Fox for a pay-per-view with the Spence.
Or vice versa, ESPN with Terrence Crawford.
I love Virgil Ortiz, but I just think Terrence Crawford's about the perfect fighter. As much as I love Virgil Ortiz, I just don't see that going well for him.
Wait, you think Ortiz? Hold on. You think Ortiz beats Spence but not Crawford?
Does he beat Spence today?
No. I understand. No, I understand. But like, you think 4 years, 5 years down the line, he beats Spence, but he doesn't beat Crawford?
It depends. Like, Crawford's 31 or 32 already. The time it would have to be right. It would have to be like, well, I would say when Canelo beat. It would have to be like when Pacquiao beat De La Hoya, right? It would have to be Pacquiao's peaking and De La Hoya is now a step.
How old is Ortiz?
Past his prime. It would have to be. What was that?
How old is Ortiz?
Ortiz is 20.
20? Oh, okay, so he has time on the side.
He's got time, but he's got time. The problem is I don't know that Golden Boy has time, right? When Shaq went to the Heat from the Lakers,
yes,
he said to Dwayne Wade, "You need to be a superstar right now." And Dwayne Wade laughed, and Shaq said, "No, you need to be a superstar right now because I'm going to win another championship, and for that to happen, you need to be a superstar. So, like, get your big boy shoes on. You need to be a superstar right now." That's what Golden Boy needs to tell Virgil Ortiz. Like, you need to be a superstar right now. I don't have time. Golden Boy doesn't have time to wait. Like, you need to be a star right now. You need to knock people out, and you need to step up and fight better guys than Orozco. Like, that's fine. Let him have his homecoming. Let him get a knockout. But your next fight has to be a top 15 guy. Seriously. They don't have time for him.
Again,
to wait
can you matchmake him for me? Like, matchmake him. Like, build Virgil Ortiz into a star. Like, walk me through his next 3 or 4 years.
The Golden Boys bench is so weak. It's like we have to go the mandatory route, right? And that doesn't really work. So it's like they can't match it with anyone internally, right? Like they can have him fight Pablo Cesar Cano and things like that, but that doesn't do anything. Who do they have? Like, they'd have to try to work with Eddie and have him fight a matchroom fighter. But who does really matchroom have at 47?
Khan, but not really. They don't have Khan in a way, right? Kell Brook, maybe.
There you go. If you could do something like that, and I think you could do something like that, can you give him Amir Khan? Seriously, let him beat up on Amir Khan. That's a name.
That would do wonders for
It'll
him.
get attention. Let him beat up on Amir Khan. Khan still thinks he's good for some reason. Let him beat up on Khan.
Saddam Ali.
He beats up on Khan.
Saddam Ali.
Saddam Ali. There you go. Those are names that he could beat. So give him Saddam Ali.
I like
he goes
that.
up to a fight with Brook. They can do it, but like they got after this fight, it better be Ali or Amir Khan next.
Yeah, I agree.
Those aren't even top 15 guys with their names at least, right? And then when you beat those two guys, then match them with Brook.
So are you firmly of the mindset that like Golden Boy is most likely losing Canelo and Ryan Garcia? Because it seems like you're already planning the worst.
I'm with you. Whenever that Canelo contract is up, he's just going to do his own thing with the zone. He's basically, is that losing him? I mean, that's his contract running up, and then him saying, I'm the biggest star in the world. I'm just going to do what's best for me. I don't think he's going to look to break his contract with Golden Boy. I just think when it's up, it's up. Right? And I don't know when that is.
Hey,
I don't think he's going to be signing any more contracts with anyone.
Just because we're on the topic of welterweights and Golden Boy, what the fuck is happening to Rashidi Ellis? He hasn't fought since October. He hasn't fought since October of last year.
Going on a year, and he's young. He's in his prime. He should be fighting 3-4 times a year.
I remember that Eddie Gomez knockout in 2016, and that put him on the map. Everyone was like, "Whoa, he could beat something," and then they have done absolutely nothing to help him. Nothing.
Yeah, it's been almost a year since he's fought.
That's crazy.
I think the last time he fought was on one of those Facebook Live.
Yep, it was against Saul Corral.
Which probably 150 people watch, so that's good. He's a talent, too. I don't understand what they're not doing with him. Because he's really good. That's a terrible job. We were talking about Oscar not promoting young talent. That's about as bad a job as you can do with a talent like Rashidi Ellis, because he's really good.
And I'll say this. Unlike Verge Ortiz, that Eddie Gomez knockout went trending in the boxing world. Like, everyone was talking about it when it happened. Ortiz has never had that moment. And, they even failed to capitalize on that in a guy like Rashidi Ellis. Sad, man. I think Golden Boy just needs to, go bankrupt and just go away. And all these fighters go to other promoters and outfits.
I mean, that could happen. I think Ryan Garcia, his days with Golden Boy are numbered. I think he'll end up going to Eddie
Probably.
and Matchroom. Because I think he thinks he can beat Devin Haney, as ridiculous as it is. I really think he believes that.
Yep.
So I don't think that, but I think he's going to go. If he only made $50,000, is that what you said? Was that the report that he made $50,000 for his last fight?
Yep.
That's insane. I mean, he should be making 10 times that. Seriously, he should be making $500,000 a fight.
I wouldn't go that far necessarily, but I could see it. I could absolutely see it.
All right, that's probably a high end, but he should make $200,000-$300,000.
He could. That absolutely. Yeah. With some back end money too. Yeah.
So I mean, when you pay your second biggest star $50,000, you're basically asking him to go away.
Yeah.
I mean,
agree.
you are, right?
I agree. I definitely see in 5 years' time, Golden Boy doesn't have Canelo and Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, I don't think it's, Canelo doesn't seem real happy now, but he's doing himself. I don't think they're losing Canelo because Canelo's met him. I just think it makes more sense for Canelo not to have a promoter. And Canelo's obviously been a fairly smart businessman. I think he realizes that.
Mm-hmm.
I think they screwed up the Ryan Garcia thing. The problem is that Ryan Garcia is not good, right? Like maybe he will be good one day, but that day's not right now.
Yeah.
And De La Hoya promoted him so much, and he's not even good. Like if he would have put the
and in a similar
energy,
way, let's say Canelo's out of the equation, and now Golden Boy's left with Ryan Garcia and Virgil Ortiz and Saddam Ali as their three biggest names. You're going to all three of them and saying we need something right now. Ryan Garcia can't deliver. Ryan Garcia needs the slow burn. And I don't think Golden Boy can really offer him that.
right? Well, okay. I mean, if you're Golden Boy, in a perfect world, what do you do with Ryan Garcia? You keep giving him slubs for the next couple of years?
Maybe. Probably.
But then he's going to be pissed at you for fighting slumps. Like, why do you keep giving me these cab drivers?
Hey.
I don't think you're any good. You can't say that.
It doesn't matter if he's paid right. Think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's be honest. What we heard in that tweet wasn't he was upset with his opponent level or opponent like ability. It's money. He made $50,000 when the revenue was over $1 million or near $1 million for that event. That is the thing that they quote as the issue. So it's money. It's always money. Come on, with prize fighters. You know.
Yeah, if you pay him enough, right? Right, like I don't know what Top Rank offered Terrence Crawford, but it had to be pretty substantial for him not to go to PBC and get all those big money fights, right? Like they had to throw him, at least at that time, something he thought was worth it.
Talking to the phone.
Oh, is that better?
A little bit better, I guess.
I don't know what Top Rank threw Terrence Crawford, but it had to be sizable for Terrence Crawford not to go to PBC.
Of course.
If he would have went to PBC, he would have had, all those fights. They must have done him something saying, here, you're not going to get those fights as easily, but you're going to get paid. That's why I never really everyone got our Crawford for not signing with PBC. It's like, that offer was never really disclosed. We don't really know what he got from Top Rank and ESPN, right? So unless you're going to start paying his bills, right, don't worry about who other people sign with. Now, it's not who I wanted him to. I would have loved for Terrence Crawford to sign with PBC and get a Thurman fighter, a Spence fighter, but it didn't happen, right? Like, I'm not going to fault a guy for making a good business decision if that's what he thought was his best decision. And Billy, I wanted to ask you, I missed the thing on Billy Joe. What was the news with Billy Joe?
His management company, MTK, put out a tweet about Billy Joe in training and how, news coming, and they tagged Top Rank and Bob Arum. And that's, like, not the only people they tagged, but it's the only promoters they tagged. So in an era where Billy Joe Saunders is in a free agency and you're talking about news is upcoming and you tag Top Rank, me and Rob just kind of, deduced Sherlock Holmes that hey, he's probably going to sign with Top Rank, a la Ryan Burnett, who left Frank Warren and went to Top Rank, which is different than Tyson Fury having a co-promotional deal.
Right. Things aren't going real well for Frank Warren recently. If he loses Billy Joe, that's not going to be good. Did they say he's going to be fighting at 60 or 68?
No, they did not. But he's the super middleweight champion right now. He has a belt up there.
He has a belt at 68. I thought. I guess he could go either way if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, would it make more sense for him if he goes over to Top Rank? Would it make more sense for him to fight at 60 or 68? Would it be more lucrative for him?
60.
You're not getting a Canelo fight, you wouldn't think.
No, I'm not talking about Canelo fight.
Right?
Who does Top Rank have at 168? Name them.
I was going to say Zordo, but he went to 75, right? So
yep. He's out.
Yeah. So.
No one.
Wow. What's the kid? Jesse Hart, but he's at 75 now too.
He's at 75 too. Yep. He just had a fight there. Look good.
Yeah. So I guess they're because they had talent at 60, but now it's all at 75. So yeah, I guess it would make sense for him to go to 60.
And you know who's down there? Ryota Murata. Rob Brandt.
Yeah, you could do that. You could have him be up on brand for but are those big money? I mean, maybe he went to Japan to fight Murata. That would be a huge fight, but I don't know. Would you really want to do that?
No, I don't care about Billy Joe Saunders. He could have went to PBC where there's like a ton of 168 pounders and fight them, but he's going to Top Rank where there's less competition at. So this is a total Billy Joe Saunders move if it happens.
Yeah, I feel like he wanted to fight with Andrade. I thought they wanted to make that still. Is that? I mean, is he done with that?
I have no idea.
Both guys seem like they were. If Andrade's getting Canelo, I guess he doesn't care about Billy Joe anymore. That's it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Gary. Santiago, are you there?
Yo. You know, it's funny. Over the weekend, I had a crazy thought run through my mind. And we were discussing, like, the relationship between Oscar and Canelo, and I was just thinking to myself, you know what? I'm just waiting for Canelo to do what Oscar did when he left Top Rank and started Golden Boy, and I'm just waiting for, like, a Canelo promotions to start and he becomes his own boss. And just literally seeing the news and everything from you and from, you know, everywhere at this point, it's ironic that ends up being the topic of discussion for today. So you know, I'm honestly right now very, very much seeing a future where Golden Boy doesn't exist. Certain people are like celebrating the collapse, like saying Oscar was always crap and whatnot, and like maybe somewhere down the road he ends up in one of those like specials where he's like a druggie and like trying to get his life all back together. We're just looking back at his highlight reel where he was like a really good fighter and crap.
Agree. Yeah.
Oscar.
I mean, every time I look into this situation, I'm like, Oscar has fucked this up time and time again, and it's sad.
Yeah, man, because you know you pointed it out, like he never had a lot of love from the Mexican or even Mexican American community. You know, everyone saw him as the pretty boy, the guy with the good looks who was getting all the ladies. And, you know, in a way, you could see that in Ryan. But, like, no one really faulted Ryan for, like, the way he was. You know, we criticized his fighting ability and whatnot. But, like you said, he made himself a draw. You know, with the followers, everyone tuned in on Facebook and whatnot. He is a draw, you know, regardless of whether or not we think he's a good fighter. And you know, at this point, it's going to be interesting to see where all this goes. Like, does Canelo just run out his contract? Because he's only had 2 fights and what was, I believe, an 11-fight contract deal, right?
Is it 11? Yeah. Well, it's 10 plus the Lucy in the beginning.
Yeah, because so far it's been, you know, I think it was Rocky Lockridge and Daniel Jacobs. That's it since the signing of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can buy out his contract, and depending on how the litigation goes, he gets to buy out his contract for less than what they're probably hoping he'll have to pay for. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting ride to see where free agency goes for this guy, because you can imagine the kind of people that are either gonna want to work with him or want to try to take him under his banner. You know, it's gonna be just like the freaking you know, all the agents just trying to get that next football star and like trying to like court him and whatnot. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out in the end, because I agree with you. I think maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, Canelo's done, Oscar's finished, and hell, maybe even some of the guys go with Canelo. You know, maybe they all just decide, let's just work together and whatnot.
I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo swoops up a bunch of talent. You know, not even from Golden Boy alone. I mentioned Oscar Valdez, who's obviously training with Canelo and under Eddie Reneso. I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, you know, through this litigation and process that's about to take place between Canelo and Golden Boy and Ryan Garcia and Golden Boy, you know, it takes place over 2 or 3 years. Oscar Valdez is a free agent. You swoop him up. Let maybe some other Mexican talent. I wouldn't be surprised. Like Canelo at this point in time, his name matters more than Oscar's. It just does.
No, yeah, for sure. Like you can compare him to like a Julio Cesar Chavez in the sense that because he is a full-blooded Mexican, and because he has more or less endeared himself with the people pay attention. People care. Oscar for a long time fought for that, and we can't ever really say he ever really got it, even when he tried to make his case by fighting Julio Cesar Chavez twice, people just didn't give a shit. So Canelo's position is definitely going to be one where he's got the leverage to do what he thinks he needs to do for himself and for his career and for his own personal interests.
Agreed. With everything
Yeah,
you're
man.
saying.
So it'll be interesting to see. Weekend of fights, you already know. I was looking forward to it. I had to wonder if you at least paid attention to the Pascal fight because, dude, when he hit him that first time in that fourth round and he was on fucking Clear Street, oh, that had to feel so good. It was the only thing that was unsatisfying about that whole thing was the fact that it had to be a technical decision because all of us just wanted to see that son of a bitch fall to the ground again.
It was funny because, I was sitting here, I was doing some other work that day, and I was like, I'll just put it on the background. There's some other fights on the undercard like I want to see, and I put it on. I'm like, oh, damn, it's the Marcus Brown fight. It's like round 2 or 3 at that point, right? And I'm like, fuck, I'll just leave it on the background, right? And I'm doing some work, and all of a sudden I see that big right hand swoop over. I see Marcus Brown drop. And it's such a comical knockdown that I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. And the fight just ended up being a dust up for the next however long it was, another 6 rounds or whatever it was.
6 rounds, yeah.
Was it a 10 round or a 12 round? I'm trying to remember.
So it was a 12-round fight. The cut happened in the 8th where he got the gash, and then they just called it and said we're going to the scorecards.
Okay, that's right. But God, that fight was fun. And John Pascal again. I hope he doesn't fight anymore after this because the guy's old, and I think that he's a little bit shop worn. But shout out to him being old man strength over here and just beating up the young guy. That puts a smile on my face. I like that.
Yeah, man. For everybody that had been following Marcus Brown specifically too, and didn't like him like you or I because of all the shit that he'd been doing, Pascal was the guy that we only wished he could have been. Put the hurting on him, came away with the win, and if he calls it a career, he went out on a high note as far as I'm concerned.
In the weekend where we had Colby Covington get a win and shit like that, at least Marcus Brown lost. At least we got that win.
Yeah, man. If only could have been in more emphatic fashion, right? Because that shit would have been on your still for the thumbnail, man. That would have been the most beautiful thing you could have put on there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anyways, and then one Konatsky, Areola. Honestly,
you must have loved it. You must have loved it. Huh?
By the 3rd round, I figured Kanaki was gonna put him out. I really did. Areola looked like a guy with all those years, all that wear and tear just showing on his face.
Yeah.
He looked like that guy, and Kanaki barely 19-0. He was poised. I'm surprised that he was able to dig in there, look like the veteran fighter that he was. Take his best shots, guard, block, whatever, and just go the full distance. And to be honest, I think it's a good performance by Areola. And if he decides to retire, he should. And at least it was on a note where you could say, I put it out there, I gave it my all, and I have no shame in calling it a career, because honestly, for a guy that had been knocked out by Klitschko, Stavern, and Wilder, being able to stay on your feet, not go down once in that fight, what better way to go out on a career note, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, man. So, and same, I don't know if there is any more room for improvement for Konaki. I think he's hitting his ceiling at this point. I don't know if he can go forward more. We'll see who they match him up with. But at this point, yeah, a couple of the guys that you mentioned, like Miller and whatnot, they probably do him in. I think the fact that his build is actually going to be part of the reason why he has issues, because Andy Ruiz at least has the hand speed. You know, that's a deciding factor in what makes him successful. Like it's not something that, oh, look how fast he's. Like, no, that guy has serious hand speed. Wanaki showed that he's a fighter, but at this point, that's pretty much all he's shown me. So we'll see where he goes at this point. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, I think I like to mention the hand speed because, like, Andy Ruiz is one of those guys who is secretly, like, a really great athlete. You know what I mean? Like, he's a big guy, but he's a really fast, quick, agile person, you know, when you think about it. While Ronatsky is more of he's better than this, but he's more like a Dominic Brazil in a way, where he's more lumbering and more plodding. I did like, though, his ability to box on the back foot. I thought that was some improvement for Ronatsky. His ability to get the jab going and at least create offense, and sort of try to, as you said, play the veteran game. I thought this is probably the best version of Ronatsky we're ever going to see, though. I don't see him being a better athlete. I don't see his talent improving. I don't see his skills improving enough to really contend with those very top guys. But he's still, you know, a borderline top 10 guy, period. You know, he might be at number 10, but he's definitely, like, positioned himself to be the gatekeeper to the stars. And he's going to make a great career out of it, because the heavyweight division, you can make a really great career of being the number 11th, 12th, 10th ranked guy in the division and just fighting everyone. Look at fucking Derek Chisora, for God's sake. That guy has been a borderline top 15 guy his entire career, and he has made millions off of it. I think Ronatsky could do that and be like the U.S. guy, the U.S. version of a Chisora.
Yeah, and at least he doesn't have the same tendencies as his one of his old fellow compatriots in Andrew Galata.
Don't you dare besmirch the name of the great Galata, okay?
The foul pole, man. Hey, we should be grateful that you know, he may not be good, but we never have to see him deteriorate to that, because Galata was an example of a guy who had the skills but never had the mindset for it.
Never. God. Anyways, Santi, anything else, man?
Nah, man, that's pretty much it. If you got any questions regarding any other topic specific, feel free to shoot. Yes, Gary, that was me that sent you a friend request. My first name is Santiago, but because of the fact that it's a common last name, I prefer going by my shorthand, Sant or Santi. Matt rarely ever calls me by my full name.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. Have a wonderful evening. I might be back later tonight, but probably tomorrow morning, to be more honest, with a Trending Now Network TV review of Season 1 of Euphoria on HBO. Obviously, the season finale happened yesterday. I haven't seen it yet. Have not seen the season finale yet, so do not spoil it for me, please. But I'm going to catch it probably tonight, do the review tomorrow morning. But anyways, guys, have a great one. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Mixed Combat Radio is where you're at. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe. Go to Trending Now Network as well. Trending Now Podcast to see our other sort of platforms. And everyone, just have a beautiful day. Take care of yourselves. And in today's news cycle, man, just tell people you love them, that you love them. You know, just give your kids a hug, give your loved ones a hug. It's crazy out there, man. Be safe. Peace.